Hey friends, it's Lisa Mears. Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, welcome. In today's video, I'm so excited to show you how I created this adorable ice cream food truck card using the brand new food truck dies from Scrapbookcom. I turned the food truck into an ice cream truck, but the beauty of these dies is that you can customize the theme however you like. Just switch up the pattern paper, die cuts, or embellishments to make it your own. If I turn this over, you'll be able to see what this food truck looks like with the dies that are included. There are some word dies that you can use that go with this set, such as So Sweet, Greetings, Hot Cocoa, Hugs and Kisses, and Thank You. There's even a 25-cent die that you can include on your food truck to show the cost of the items. I'm also going to be bringing in the brand new classic glossy cardstock and the candy smooth cardstock. I have the 6x8 versions of these paper pads, but they're also available in 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches. Take a look at the glossy paper pad. This paper pad is so stunning with the black and white cardstock that is glossy and super thick. I'm also going to be bringing in the Candy Smooth cardstock, and this is such a fun color collection. I'll be using the pink color from this paper pad, that one right there. And I'm also going to be bringing in the Jolly Smooth cardstock. I'll be using this yellowish green color. And last but not least, I'll be bringing in some of the fun pattern papers from this retro summer collection by Simple Stories to give my card that perfect ice cream truck vibe. I'll be using that pink polka dot pattern paper for my ice cream truck. There's also these really cute popsicles. You can cut those out, and I love these little signs. I'll be using the ice cream parlor sign for my card today. And here's another sheet with all these ice cream graphics on them, and I will be cutting 4 of those ice creams from that pattern paper to use on my truck today. These papers are part of this collection kit, which includes the 12x12 papers and also a sticker sheet, which you'll see here in a moment. You can also get this as a 6x8 paper pad. It even comes in a sticker book that has all kinds of stickers. There's even a whole page with just ice creams on it, and there's a whole page of signs like lemonade stand, pool house, ice cream parlor that you can include on your food truck. I don't have that sticker book, but I will link to it down in the description box below. And did you see that page of prices that I just passed? You can include the price tag on your food truck, which would be super fun. Okay, let's go ahead and make this food truck card. I started out by die cutting the shape of the food truck with this polka dot pattern paper. And now I'm going to use my Scrapbookcom pink Flamingo ink and just ink up the edges with some pink ink. I just chose an ink that matches the color of the pattern paper, and I'm just using an ink blending brush to apply some of the pink ink around the edges. I like adding ink around the edges of my die cuts because I feel like it just adds some more definition to your die cuts. So I'll go ahead and set that one aside. Next, I have the awning. You can see the die that I've used, and I die cut it out of the pink solid cardstock from the candy paper pad. And again, I added ink to the edges. And I'm going to do that with all of my die cut pieces. The only ones that I'm not going to add ink to are any of the pieces that I die cut with the glossy paper. So the pieces that I'm working on now, that is the fender, and I die cut 2 of those in the same pink cardstock, again adding the ink just along the top portion. You're not going to be able to see the bottom part of that die cut, so I didn't worry about adding any ink to the bottom. I also have this die, which is that horizontal strip along the top of the food truck. I also die cut that out of the same pink cardstock, just putting a little bit of ink there on the ends. And now I'm going to move into a yellow ink. This is the rubber Ducky ink from Scrapbookcom. I just cleaned up my work surface to remove some of that pink ink from my work surface using one of the Scrapbookcom cleanup cloths. And the paper that I used is that yellow paper from the Jolly paper pad. I die cut the door So I'll add some ink around the door, and I also die cut 3 of the sections of the awning, and I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of ink to the bottoms of those as well. I used this die to die cut the white glossy cardstock, and now I'm going to take a piece of that pink paper from the candy paper pad, and I'm going to layer that underneath the white die cut. So I'm going to add some glue to the bottom of that white die cut piece, and I'll add that piece to the pink cardstock. Next, I'll use my scissors just to trim the excess pink cardstock away from that piece. If it's easier, you can use a paper trimmer, but since it was a straight edge, I just used my scissors. Now I'm going to add glue to the back, and I'm going to add that to my food truck, and it goes right there along the bottom of the food truck. Now, adding that cardstock to the back is totally an option. You could just put that white piece directly on the food truck, but I wanted to add that pink just to bring in some more of the accents. So if I bring this die cut close, you can see that there are lines where the other items like the door and the window go, so it's easy for you to figure out where to place these pieces on your food truck. So next I'll be adding the yellow door, but before I just add it directly to the food truck, I need to add some more cardstock layers to the top of this door in order for it to lay flat on the card. Because right now I have 2 layers of cardstock on the bottom of my food truck with the white glossy paper and the pink cardstock underneath. So if I were to just add the yellow door directly to the food truck without layering up some cardstock underneath it, the door would not lay flat. It would be higher on the bottom than on the top. So what I did is I just took that same door die and I die cut 2 pieces of white cardstock, and I glued those 2 pieces of white cardstock together. I just trimmed off the bottom of that die cut of the white door, and then I'm going to adhere that to my yellow door. So underneath you can see that I have some white cardstock underneath the top part of the door and none at the bottom, and that's going to allow that extra height underneath the top part of the door so that it lays flat on my card. So I'm going to go ahead and put glue on the back and adhere it down to my food truck. Next, I'm using the white glossy cardstock for the windows. I have the larger rectangle one. I guess that could technically be a sign if you wanted it to. I also have the window for the door, and I have a window for the front of the truck. So I'll go ahead and add all of those down to the food truck. For that window on the front of the truck, you're going to align the left edge flush with the left edge of the food truck. So for that last window, if you wanted to add a sentiment inside of there, you can using any of the word dies that come with this food truck, but I'm not using those word dies today. If you look on the Scrapbook.com website, it gives you examples of what those dies look like. And as I mentioned earlier, you can choose from So Sweet, Greetings, Hugs and Kisses, Hot Cocoa, and Thank You. So I added that pink horizontal bar to the top of the truck, and now I'm working on the awning, and I'm just taking these yellow layering pieces, the 3 that I die cut, and I'm just adding them to the awning on every other curve in that awning. If you wanted to add a different color for each one of the curves, there are dies to do that, but I wanted to have the opposite colors pink, so I just left it with the pink and then added the yellow. Next, I'm going to grab my ice cream pattern paper, and I will be cutting out some of these popsicles and ice cream bars that are from this pattern paper. Now, they are a few different sizes, so I am picking ones that will fit inside of this window because some of the taller ice cream cones will not fit, so I'm sticking really with the ones that are on the stick. So I'm going to cut some of these out here and then I'll fussy cut them out individually. There's even some ice cream sandwiches in this collection that you can include to the window if you wanted to as well. So I chose 4 of the ice creams that will look good on the window and I went ahead and glued them down. Next, I'm going to adhere the awning, and there's a couple ways that you can do it. One way is by adding some foam to the back side of the awning. So on the reverse of the awning, there is a score line, and if you add your foam right above that score line, and here I'm just adding a couple of the strips, one on top of the other because my foam is a little bit thin. And then after I add these strips, then I can put that awning right at the top of the food truck. So that's one way of adding the awning. But with this way, I just want to point out that it does put a lot of dimension. So if you're going to mail this, it will be hard to stick this in an envelope. So another way that you can attach the awning, I'm going to go ahead and remove this, and I'm going to remove the foam, is you can bend back the very top part of that awning, and if you wanted, you can put a little score with a scoring tool on there, and then just add some glue to the top side and add that little strip to your card. And I'm just pressing it down from underneath to make sure it adheres really well. And I actually prefer this method of adding that awning rather than putting the foam, because this way you can just lay that flat when you're putting it inside of a card, and when you take it out, it's actually going to pop up. So it'll still have the dimension, but it will allow it to lay flat when needed. So now I'm just putting the tires together. There is a small circle die that I die cut out of the white glossy cardstock and added it to the tire, which I die cut out of the black glossy cardstock. And then I'm attaching the top of those tires to the fender. And I did that for both of them, and then I will add both of those to my food truck. And when adding those tires, just add some glue to the top part because the bottom part is going to extend off of the food truck base. Here's another fun page from that Simple Stories collection. It has like the different prices, like $2, $1, $3, 10 cents. And you can use a small circle die or even a small circle punch and punch those out. But I'm not going to use those. Instead, I'm going to use the 25-cent die that came with this food truck. I went ahead and die cut it with some of that pink cardstock, and I'm just adding it to the door. Next, I'm going to take this fun paper and I'm going to cut out the ice cream parlor sign. It says ice cream parlor, best ice cream here. I'm just going to trim that out with my scissors. And I think this sign would look super cute either on the top of the ice cream truck, or you can even put it along the center of the ice cream truck if you wanted to. But before we add it, I thought that it would be helpful for you to see what this would look like on the front of an A2 size card base, which I'm showing you here. Now, if you put it on the A2 size card base and move the truck all the way down, you are not going to have much room for the sign, because it's going to go all the way to the top edge. Now, if you put it on a 5x7 card base, you'll have plenty of room to add something to the top of the truck. I'm going to be making a shaped card, so it really doesn't matter where I put that sign, because I'm not going to be using a card base today. But before I move on, I do want to add these little heart-shaped die cuts to the center of the tires. I had forgotten that I had die cut those out, and I also die cut the handle for the door. So let's go ahead and add that now. So as I said, I am making a shaped card today. So I'm taking a piece of 8.5 inch by 11 inch piece of white cardstock, folding it in half, and I'm going to take the food truck die and I'm going to put the food truck die slightly over the fold in the cardstock. I'm going to cut away the excess cardstock. Let me go ahead and re-tape this so it doesn't move. But when I hold this closed, you can see that the top edge is slightly over that fold in the cardstock. Next, I'm going to run this through my die cutting machine. And when that comes out of the die cutting machine, you can see it gives you the card base. I'm going to die cut one more of the food trucks out of white cardstock. This one is just a regular piece of cardstock that's not folded. And the reason I'm doing that is because the reverse side of my food truck has pattern paper, and I don't want that pattern paper to show on the back side of the card. So by adding another piece of white cardstock to the back of my food truck, it's going to make it so when I attach this food truck to the card base, it's all white on the back side. And since I cut the sign out of the pattern paper, that also has a pattern on the back. And since I'm adding that to the top of the food truck, I don't want that pattern to show on the back of the card. So I'm just attaching that sign to a piece of cardstock and then cutting it out with my scissors. Now, as I mentioned earlier in this video, if you're using one of the stickers, because there is a sticker book that goes with this collection that has these fun signs in it, if you're using a sticker, you can do the same thing by attaching it to cardstock and cutting it out. Now, I want you to notice that for the bottom of that sign, I did not cut the cardstock flush with the bottom edge of that sign because I needed to leave some space down at the bottom of that sign to add glue to attach it to the top of this food truck. So I left a little bit of cardstock again at the bottom of that sign to be able to attach it. So I just put glue on the bottom, attached it to the top of the food truck, and then I'm going to add this to my card base. Just put glue on the back. Don't put glue on the back of the sign because that's not being attached to the card base. So the glue will go only on the back of the truck, and then add it to the card base, and that's how you make a shaped card out of this fun food truck die from Scrapbook.com. If you're interested in any of the products that I used today, please take a look at the links down in the description box below, as I will have all products listed down there. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you like videos like this and want to see more, make sure you click that subscribe button. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.